A good Thursday evening to each and every one of you out there, and welcome back again to the Dixie Racing Report. Of course, as always, we're coming to you live from the Rescue Smokehouse Grill right here on Exit 75. And as always, the food is off the chain again tonight. Raymond and Amy Poor and their staff getting it done. You got to come check them out. They'll be open until 10 o'clock tonight, and they've got a great menu to pick from. A great atmosphere. The prices are very affordable. So come on down to Exit 75. You've got plenty of time. If you've got something going on after work or after school, don't have time to get in the kitchen and get supper together, come on down to Exit 75, the Rescue Smokehouse Grill. Of course, I am your host, Pastor Todd Sharon, track announcer down at Cochran Motor Speedway. My good buddy, Dale Hall, the producer back behind the camera. And my partner, Brian Hester, going to be joining us a little bit later on in the show. And we got a great show lined up for you tonight. First and foremost, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Mr. Mike Hurd and our friends at 5 Star Hyundai down in Warner Robins, Georgia. Always good to have the support of somebody like 5 Star. They're a great company, and Mike Hurd loves racing. He's involved heavily, got several drivers that he sponsors, and, of course, they sponsor our show here on the Deep Dixie Racing Report. Also, a big thank you to Mr. Bill Cheat and our friends at Heartland EMS down in Cochran, Georgia, celebrating 20 years of excellence, taking care of our community. And our latest sponsor partnership that we've made is with the fine folks at Carol Sausage and General Store. They've got 4 locations to serve you. The one closest to us is about 7 miles north of here on Exit 82. They've got a great variety in that store. It literally is like walking back in time. You're traveling down the highway, you need to take a break, go and see some really neat stuff. They serve food there. They've got an outstanding selection of meats in their meat department. They've got secret recipes with their sausage. You can get you some ice cream and get you something cold to drink. And if you're pulling a trailer or maybe in an RV, they do offer RV parking down there. That's Exit 82, our friends at Carol's Sausage and General Store. They're open Monday through Saturday, 7 until 7. Go check them out. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight. In just a few minutes from now, we are going to be going over the phone with Mr. Clint Smith, the Cat Daddy, the driver of the 44 car. And Clint has really had a lot of roller coaster emotions over the last few weeks. He had a pretty nasty crash. We're going to get him to tell us all about that. And then he comes back and puts together a couple big wins. And so Clint Smith will be joining us around 7:15. And then Brian Hester will be coming in. At that point, we're going to be going over some of the things that happened this past weekend on the racing programs in our area. And we'll also be talking about some things that are going to be coming up. And then as we move into the 8 o'clock hour, we've got 3 great interviews. I know you're going to enjoy hearing these drivers talk. First out of the box, he scored a big win in the National Late Model Series event down at CMS on Sunday night. Ray Miller, Donnie Brown, and the entire crew came, had a great field of cars, a great race, and he scored the win down there in a big way. Pretty much went unchallenged. The driver of the 26 car from Vidalia, Georgia, Sharpe, Jr. will be our first guest in the 8 o'clock hour. Then a few minutes down from that, we'll talk to Mr. Sloan, Jr. Going to be talking to him about his racing. And then we're going to wrap things up tonight a little bit later on. And we're going to be talking to Mr. Shaun Washam. And all 3 of these young men, they have great stories, great racing careers going on right now. And going to get a look inside of what's going on in their racing careers. And so stay tuned with us. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours, the Lord willing. We're always glad to have all of you join us. We appreciate all of your support, your comments, your questions. And here on this show, one of the things that we do that's real important, and we all agree on this, and when Dale and I were talking about the show and just kind of tossing around ideas, how to do it, how it might work, what wouldn't work, and so forth, one of the things we decided on very early on was that we wanted to honor faith, family, and our country. And of course, tomorrow will mark a very important day in the history of the United States of America. Hard to believe that 2015 is already into the month of September. But of course, tomorrow is the anniversary of 9/11. And that day will forever be etched in our minds. And I know that that's going to bring back a lot of memories, a lot of emotions for many of you. And some of you may have been small children when that happened. And maybe you weren't even born yet. But I can tell you that that was a day that that changed our world forever. And each and every week here on the Deep Dixie Racing Report, we always start out with a word of prayer, and then we do our national anthem. And tonight, just a very special pre-show opening. We want to acknowledge just a few things. First of all, we appreciate our servicemen and women here. We thank you for what you do, and you're in a very dangerous world, and you miss your families, you miss your children, your husbands, your wife, your parents, and all of your friends. And for all of the families that may be tuning in tonight, we make no apologies about it. We love and support our servicemen and women all over the world, and we want you to know every day that we love you, but especially coming up on the anniversary of 9/11. We want all of you to know that we are very grateful for what you do. And just literally moments before our show started tonight, a very sweet young lady who is here at the restaurant pretty much every time we come on Thursday nights. Her name is Megan. She's got a brother that is going to be deployed tomorrow. He's going to be heading over to Ukraine, one of many places in our world that's a hot spot. And his name is Dave. And so maybe somehow, some way, Megan can show Dave a replay of this show tonight. And I know there's many out there that are fighting and are sacrificing for our freedom. And so I wanted to just take a moment before we entered into prayer in the national anthem and just say how very grateful that we are for everything that you do. At this time, I'm going to ask you, wherever you're at, excuse me, if you will, just take a moment and pause. And we are going to open up our show with the word of prayer. And so wherever you're at right now, whatever you may be going through, prayer does work. And so let's ask God to just help us and to be with those that were affected so greatly by 9/11. Shall we pray? Father, we thank you for another opportunity to come and get together, be able to talk a little bit about racing, to be able to have some fellowship and have some fun. We thank you for that. It's something that I look forward to each and every week. And Lord, I don't know who may be watching out there, but I know there are many. I pray for each one of those folks that are tuned in. We thank you for every member of our racing family. I know that there are some that are sick among us. I know that there are some that are recovering from lengthy illness and surgeries and things like that. And Lord, we just lift them up to you. And Lord, we especially pray for our servicemen and women all over this world as we remember one of the saddest days in the history of this world, 9/11, and how our country was so greatly affected. And Lord, we never ever want to forget the sacrifices that was made on that day and that continue to be made to protect us and to guard us. And so we pray for all of our servicemen and women as well as their families. We pray for all of our first responders locally, our policemen, our firefighters, the EMTs, and everyone else that has a hand in protecting us. We pray for them. And Lord, we just ask that you be with us tonight. Let us have a good show. Lord, I just pray that we'll be able to share the gospel with somebody tonight. And Lord, we ask that it would be something that you would be pleased with. Just bless us and help us along as we go. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, at this time, we're going to honor America with the playing of our national anthem. God bless America. And once again, we want to welcome everybody out to another edition of the Deep Dixie Racing Report. We're always glad to get together with you on Thursday evenings. And I tell you what, man, there was a lot of things that happened this past weekend. There are many storylines that we're going to get to. And my buddy Brian Hester going to be joining us just a little bit later on in our show. But several things that were breaking, not only locally, but one of the big things that I saw, and I know Brian will be able to speak to it a little more in detail, is we are hearing rumored that Clint Boyer, of course, we do know that Michael Waltrip Racing made some announcements earlier on, I guess about 2-3 weeks ago. It came out that they were going to be closing down after the 2015 season. That was going to leave a lot of speculation on what was going to happen to those MWR drivers. One of the things that has surfaced, and I guess only time will tell, is Clint Boyer is rumored to be in line to take over the ride that Tony Stewart currently has right now at Stewart Haas Racing. And that's something that's pretty big news, actually. Tony Stewart has been in the headlines a whole lot over the last year with the tragic accident that happened up at Canandaigua and the death of the young man there in the sprint car. And so that's one of the things I know that Brian's going to want to be talking about. And I'm sure we've got some other things. Many of you are tuning in and going to see what is discussed tonight about some previous things that happened over this past weekend. Of course, it was Labor Day weekend, and it looked like for a little while there that the weather may play a factor, but at least in our neck of the woods, everything stayed pretty good. We actually had a nice breeze, and it was pretty comfortable, and there was a whole lot of racing going on. And Brian is going to come and help us to go into detail about that. There's one thing that I do want to say to you before we actually get Clint Smith on the line. I have had the privilege of meeting so many of you in the Deep Dixie family. Many of you that tune into this show, some of you, I have been out in the public at a restaurant or whatever. I was actually at a nursing home today doing a devotion, and I ran into somebody that asked me about the racetrack and asked about the show. And we do appreciate all of your support. And one of the things that I love about the racing family is that we are a tight-knit group of people. And this past weekend, some pretty big news in my life and in the life of my family, my wife and my son and I. We've been feeling for some time that the Lord may be leading us in a different direction. And with God's help and with God's guidance, we plan on starting a church down in Cochran, Georgia. I've been the pastor of the church that I was at for 11 years. And we resigned our position there this past weekend. And I'm telling you that for one reason, so that you'll pray for me. I do feel like that we're moving in the right direction, but it is a big undertaking to begin a church. And we are doing it with the thought in mind that we are going to target our racing family. And I have made lifelong friends down there. So I wanted to say that and ask you for your prayers. We were looking at several things as far as buildings and locations and things like that. But it is certainly a leap of faith. But we do feel like this is God's work, and all we do is get in and help spread the word. So please keep us in your prayers. And as we get closer to some more definite information, we'll be sharing it with you on this show and on the websites and things like that. But my hope and my intention, if it works out, we would love to be able to kick things off in the month of October. I guess that time will tell. And as God opens up the doors, we will continue to walk through them. All right. Thank you for letting me share that with you. We're going to get a hold of Mr. Clint Smith right now. Again, thank you for tuning in. We're coming to you live from the Rescue Smokehouse Grill right here on Exit 75. So come on down and join us. Grab you something good to eat. Thank you to our sponsors, 5-Star Hyundai, Heartland EMS, and Carroll Sausage and General Store. We appreciate everything that they do to help us out and to keep us bringing this show to you every Thursday from 7 until 9.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
We are efforting Mr. Clint Smith, and hopefully we'll be able to track him down in just a little bit. But one of the things that I would like to bring up, this past weekend, there was a lot of action all over the place. And one of the things that's coming up that I know everybody is looking forward to is the big races over at East Alabama Motor Speedway. This is the time of the year that the weather begins to change a little bit, and it seems like when you get over there in Phoenix City, Alabama, man, it can go from nice and warm during the day to freezing cold at night. So keep an eye on the East Alabama Speedway website. Keep an eye on DeepDixieRacing.com. We're going to be bringing you all of the information that we can. Clint, Pastor Todd Sharon, Deep Dixie Racing Report. How are you, buddy?
Doing good.
Good, man. Thank you for joining us. Those of you that are just tuning in, we are just beginning our conversation with the driver of the 44 car and super late model division, Mr. Clint Smith. And Clint, first things first, Dale Hall and I, the producer, we were looking at some photographs here. And I've got to ask you about that wild ride that you took. And the pictures are pretty telling. Needless to say, man, you got some pretty big air to end up on the bulletin boards there. Tell us about that night and how everything happened.
I just was trying some new setup stuff, and the track happened to be really good and taxi. And we were just running, I guess, too fast for the track conditions. And the car kind of done like a sprint car, just got to rolling and they got to flipping and went up in the spine, I guess, kept me from going out in the parking lot.
Did you remain conscious throughout the whole ride, Clint?
Oh, yeah, I just scratched. It wasn't so nowhere. I run the joy seats, which is and safety stuff, and it was just everything was really good. And basically, I didn't think we turned over one time until I seen the video. But it was. I thought I was kind of stove up a little bit that night, but then the next morning I thought but we worked all day getting the car took apart and getting ready to get it fixed.
Got you, man. We're joined right now by the Cat Daddy, the driver of the 44 car super late model, Mr. Clint Smith. And Clint, one of the captions at the bottom of two photographs that Dale and I saw was it said we went from this to this. And I think it was about 3 weeks, and it showed the car up buried up in there, the billboards, and then it showed you with a checkered flag. And it's incredible how that the racing game, man, there's a lot of highs and there's a lot of lows and there's a whole lot of changes, but you have come back and put together a couple big wins. And I want you to just give us a snapshot, a detailed snapshot of how those wins come about, where you were at, and so forth.
Yeah, we got through turning the car over. We took it to Doug Stevens and had the plane fixed, and he was right here kind of close to me. And we took a couple weeks to get the car back together. Then we've been waiting on a motor, so still waiting on the motor. Actually, the friend of mine, Wayne and Brian Reese over here to race, they tore their car up a while back, so their motor was just sitting there. So we bought it and put in it to get ready for the 4,000 to win race here a couple weeks ago. They got a rain out at Sonora.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kept it in, and I said, we're just going to run it this weekend and run Sonora and Rome with them. I said, no problem. So we went over there and set fast time and won Sonora, the local deal, and then we settled into the boss, Rome boss, and we won that race before several times. So we went up there and we broke the transmission in hot laps. Got ready to go, come in, and we just pushed it off to qualify. Just had a mediocre qualifying run. There was 28 cars, we was 12, so it was about mid-pack. Come in and made some gambles on some setup and some gambles on tires, and went out for the feature, and I knew what tires I don't have to be cool. And I figured there would be big nutrition, which there was. And we just kind of bought our time and got up there to the top 3, and then had a restart with I think it was 11 to go, and we led all 11 laps at the end there. We passed in the first corner, and everything was just right. So it's one of them nights you hit everything on the money for the feature when some nights you don't. So it just everything was fortunate, and some guys had some trouble that I didn't have. So it was one of the nights just come out right.
Yeah, man, that's a good story, Clint, to be able to stay local like that, put together back-to-back wins. And Clint, I want to ask you, I've always wondered, and now's a great time for me to ask somebody that can explain in layman's terms. Now, for those of you that were listening, you heard Clint say they went to Rome, and in hot laps, they broke the transmission and literally had to push the car off in qualifying. Clint, when you come into a feature race like that, and you've got something like that that's definitely impeding progress, a broken transmission, it's absolutely imperative that you don't let the car stall, and that's obvious. But what is it like driving the car when you know you've got a good car, and yet in the back of your mind you know you've got that nagging problem? In layman's terms, explain to us how that actually affects your race.
Well, that was not a big deal because our transmissions is just got a straight drive high gear. So when I got into high gear, as long as we don't stop, we're good. But then, lo and behold, the first lap, we have a car turnover, so we got a red flag. So I have to stop. So fortunately, I was up on the bank good enough. I fired it off in gear, and I started good enough with quartermaster stuff on the starter program, which is, I think, the best starter program in racing. And it cranked the car in gear and took off, and that was the only mishap with the speed as far as trying to get it cranked up. But you definitely would have been in trouble if you like to get spun around and trying to keep it going and stuff like that. And you got to knock it out of gear. But you'd have been in trouble for it to hinder the race for me. But fortunately, everything was good. We was going forward, and that wasn't a big issue until after the race. And you got to get across the scales and try to get to the victory lane and try to get back up to your truck, and all with nothing but high gear. So you got to rely on somebody to push you, and you got to get somebody. It was just really aggravating. But normally we have time to change some stuff, like a transmission or something like that, but we just didn't have enough time Sunday night to make that happen. But normally we would have got it changed. We got a master cylinder change. We thought that would be it. It turned out to be a transmission. So it's not a big deal as far as something like that. And if you got a motor issue, that's a lot bigger problem. If you're trying to bake the motor through the race or something like that, so you got to watch your gauges and make sure nothing's going to happen. You want to race as long as you can, especially if you're up front. So then and that's way more of a problem because you got to watch your gauges every straightaway, and that kind of gets your distraction, like I guess texting and driving or something like that. So you got to take some of your focus away. So that's worse than the transmission problem.
Yeah, very well said, man. I mean, you guys heard Clint talking about it, and Clint being such an experienced driver, you kind of almost figure that somewhere along the way that you've been through those things before. But very well said, Clint. Thanks for explaining that to us. Dale and I were talking just before we went on the air tonight, and we were trying to decide, are you actually running any of the National Touring Series, the Lucas Series, or the World of Outlaws? Are you just hitting races, hit and miss here and there? What's your schedule like for 2015?
We decided to shut back, and they reopened Snow Speedway with new clay and new owners and stuff like that. And I told them I would help them out. And in turn, I got 5 or 6 cars I keep up every week at the shop. So we shut down from going out on a tour, and we're in the Ray Cook Series this year and just kind of do some local stuff. Well, it's about 90% of the Ray Cook stuff got rained out at the first of the year. So we ended up having to go. We went to Snow every week. Well, now we got locked into leading the point. That Snow always has a pretty good payday. So, and I got to keep up with all my guys every Saturday night. So I'm kind of about a month and a half ago committed to finishing the year out at Sonora. So basically, we start from going to Dixie and Rome and Talladega Short Circuit one time this year. We've been pretty much staying right around the house, and we're going to go to Phoenix City, Alabama for the state race, and we're going to go back to the national, and we're going to go to Dixie and Rome for the Lucas Oil shows, and then finish out the year at Sonora this year, and then probably going to do pretty much the same thing probably next year also, because we've been rebuilding our program, and got a lot of business going on with cars and stuff like that, which probably should have done 2 or 3 years ago, but we stayed out long as we could, and now we just going more into a teacher role and a setup role, trying to help guys out. We're going to put on a school here probably about a month and a half from now. Some more we haven't announced it yet, but We're going to do a school and try to teach people how to fix their cars, make it even a bad choice and a good choice where they can tell the difference if they make a mistake on setup and driving. So it's going to be a little bit of different type of school, but that's kind of what our plans are for the rest of this year and probably next year also.
Yeah, that's real neat, man. And you know, Clint, we have seen you, especially us folks here in Georgia and Alabama. We have seen you year after year after year over there at the big races in Phoenix City, and you have really done well over there. I mean, it's incredible when you get on the high banks, and it's like the super late models are just in a whole different stratosphere. It's hard to explain, but at East Alabama, when they turn those supers loose and you see most every one of the cars go right up to the top, Clint, I mean, guys riding on the ragged edge, what does it feel like, the G-force? And if you could translate it into miles per hour and that, how fast are you actually going, and how quick do you actually get your bearings going that fast?
Well, you know, it's when you don't have a wall, it makes everybody have more, maybe have more confidence. You can run higher and feel good about it. But definitely when you get your car, you wait for it to turn on the corner, usually you're probably running 125 miles an hour.
Wow.
I don't want to say a number that people's going to be saying, I can't believe you said we're running that fast, or we run faster than that, but say we're running 125 miles an hour in the straightaway at Phoenix City. You got to get the car slow enough where you can make sure it stays the whole to the racetrack, which early in the night when it's got a lot of grip, of course you can run a lot faster, but as the track loses grip, and you got to slow that mile an hour down a little bit to make sure you make the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to have a feel for that, and you get it over time of racing, and you know a lot what the car feels like when it's gripping and when it's not gripping.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's kind of hairy on each of there, but you know most all the super guys know that field and know how fast they can go, and you cook around the bottom or around the top, whatever you want to do, but you probably got to get, if you run 125 down in the straightaway, you got to get probably slow down to 85 or 90 in the middle of the corner. So your average speed about 110 probably. So pretty fast place. And but that's just part of it, you know, just the tires and the cars are so good now. You have a lot of grip and just a lot of motor. So just basically just stay focused and you're in good shape.
Yeah. Real cool that you'd break that down for us, Clint. And before I get off of that, from where we are watching, everyone in the stands and in the tower, it seems that everything happens at breakneck speed. Now, once you get in and your body and all your faculties get adjusted to that speed, is things from a driver's perspective, are they happening as fast, not as fast, or even much faster than what it appears to us as the onlookers?
It actually is probably a lot slower in the car than what it is y'all watching. But now you got Phoenix City is probably a bad example because this place is a 4-lane highway. It's a super wide racetrack with no walls, and you got plenty of room to miss the wreck or miss somebody messing up. Plenty of room to pass. Billy Thomas has done a great job down there as far as the track over the years, and that thing is really wide. You can see across the racetrack and see what you're coming up on. But now you go to some places like Tazewell, Tennessee, that's just tight and narrow and super fast, and if there's a wreck, you're usually going to be in it. Rome Sunday night was 13:30, I think, Jackson High had fast time, and that's a big half mile, and that's really getting it on. So places like that is sometimes harder. Like in the city, you kind of got time to think about stuff, even though you're running really fast. It's kind of like if you was running 100 miles an hour down the interstate, it wouldn't be that bad. But if you dropped off on a dirt road with the same speed, it felt like you was running 200 miles an hour. So I know people have done probably pavement ends ahead and they've dropped off on pavement. You feel like you picked up 50 miles an hour. So same difference, you know, you just got to what the track condition is and how fast it seems like it is.
Yeah. Well, that is really, really well said, because I have been watching dirt racing for years and years, and we've always wondered, we see the cars, it just seems like that there is just no time to react. But I understand clearly what you're saying. East Alabama is a place where you got a little bit of wiggle room and obviously some room for forgiveness. But folks, we're on the line right now with Mr. Clint Smith. He's cut back his racing program a little bit, meaning that they're not actually touring with a national series. Has had good success here, staying around the house lately. He's leading the points at Sonoya, and a couple more big races coming up our way. Clint, I know that you've been at this game for a long time, and you mentioned that you're taking things in a little bit of a different direction, handling and maintaining cars, and you're about to open up a school, which I think is very, very wise and cool, because you don't see a lot of that, especially in dirt racing. Is there any thoughts about what you may or may not do once you hang the driving suit up, or do you even think about that now?
I'm sure it'll be something to do with definitely keep working and building race cars, and probably schooling or teaching kids and upcoming drivers, and stuff like that. But one of the few things I'd like to do is build street rods. So I may get into that when I get older. So that's my plan. Life plans at the moment is to build street rods or something like that. That'd kind of be fun.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan, man. Clint, I know that racing has evolved and the technology has evolved, and I listened very closely to you a minute ago. You said that the equipment, the tires are so good, and when we were talking about that wild ride you got up into the signs that night, basically the safety has come so far that if to hear you described it, even though it was a really, really frightening looking ride, you described it from being in the cockpit as actually much milder than what we would have described it. But it takes a lot of money to keep up with this stuff. And I know that over the years, you've had some great sponsors. You've had some people to help you out. And I want you to tell us about those people, not just the financial backing, but the people that have been in that shop with you over the years, thrashing and turning the wrenches. Give us an idea who those people are.
Yeah, my crew guy is Andy Wilson. He's been with me for 3 or 4 years, man, just steady, and he didn't know really anything when he first come on board, and he's picked up on everything really fast, and he's by far my main guy. We got my shop employee is Stacy Turner, and he does a good job in the shop, but he actually helps another team on the weekend. So that's about it for crew. We kind of staying local, and that's what we're doing there. Sponsor-wise, Clyburn Tank Lines has been with me for a long time, and out of Mississippi, and that's a big race for me, and he still supports me today. And we've had some people like J&J Steel and stuff on the car before Johnny passed away. And then Turkey Creek Snacks, the big pork skin company out of Thompson, Georgia. Mm-hmm. It's kind of always been on board with me along the years, and actually sponsors a radio show Wednesday nights now, the Southern Race Report. So he's our primary sponsor on that. And so, I got JP Drilling with Jerry Passmore. He's been with me since 2002, and definitely couldn't have done all what I've done without his support throughout the years, and multiple product sponsors and stuff like that throughout the years. So we've definitely got rocket chassis and even back GRT chassis. Joe Garrison helped me for years, and then Mark Richards has helped me along with rocket chassis since 2010. So both of them companies are my main 2 racing companies I've been with over the years, and that's our biggest business now, rocket chassis. We're clean things, but that's our main brand.
Yeah.
And just keeping everything going, and my daughter does all the T-shirt apparel stuff for the last 2 or 3 years. She likes doing that. A while back, doing stuff like that, doing times, and we just do a family thing with it now. Just a lot better year this year has been past. So we just been having a good time.
Cool, man. Well, Clint, I want you to, before we let you get out of here, I want you to tell the viewers and the listeners right now how they can tune in to your show on Wednesday night. I would like to be able to catch it too, and sometimes on Wednesday night with church and all, obviously that would collide, but is there a way that we can go back and maybe pull up an archive of a show or something and kind of tell us, who hosted and a little bit about the format?
It's filmed from 7 to 8 on Wednesday night. It's called the Southern Race Report. It's me and Rick Minner and Uncle Rich is the DJ, and then we got a new guy come on board a while back, Chris Carr. He does all our rundown of who won races like that. And then me and Rick talks about NASCAR, NASCAR World, and I talk about the dirt racers for guests and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's also replays tonight from 10 to 11. And if anybody's got a smartphone or a computer or anything, you can go to TuneIn Radio on your phone and just punch on 92.5 The Bear. Okay. You listen to it live when it comes on. And that'll be tonight from 10 to 11. And also just go on your computer at www.925thebear.com and you listen to a live stream on your computer if you're sitting at home or something like that. So if you're in the area, you just turn on 92.5 The Bear FM if you're in the southern, South Atlanta, Georgia area. So it covers a lot of mileage down here. So a big show, and then we also got a Twitter account for the Southern Race Report, and also a Twitter account for Clint Smith Racing, Facebook page, Clint Smith Racing, and also a Bear Facebook page. And also I got a website, ClintSmith.com. So okay. You go to that tells you, if you go to my website at www.ClintSmith.com, it'll tell you how to get on the radio station. It's right in the center of the front page. It's how to get on the radio show. So it's pretty easy.
Yeah, very good, man. It sounds like you got all your bases covered, Clint. And one thing that I remember, I had an opportunity to interview you a couple of months back, and I mentioned to Dale after the show that night, I said, man, that man is very, very well spoken, and you get a lot of practice hosting a radio show. And Clint, we always love talking to you, buddy. You have a lot of fans. You are a hero to many of us. And we always love to see that 44 car show up at any track. And, man, we sure appreciate you taking time out to share with us what's going on in your life. Congratulations on those 2 wins recently. And we do wish you the very best, not only this year, but in the years to come, man. Thank you a lot. That was a good interview, buddy.
Anytime y'all need the information or talk to me, just feel free to give me a call.
All right. Very good. All right, man. God bless you and have a good evening. That is Mr. Clint Smith, the driver of the 44 car and Super Late Model Series. He has followed several touring series, and you heard him mention, man, he's going in a little bit of a different direction. They're working on race cars in the shop, and right now Clint is with Rocket. He mentioned GRT was with him for a long time, and this guy, man, you can tell he's a very polished man. Not just an outstanding racer, but he understands all the nuts and bolts of what goes into racing, and now media is such a big part of it. And so if you get a chance to check it out, go to his Facebook page, ClintSmith.com, and you'll be able to access all of the radio show. There's Facebook, there's a website, there's all different types of Twitter account, whatever, and you'll be able to follow along with Clint Smith. And great interview. I really enjoyed talking to that guy. All right, folks. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Deep Dixie Racing Report. As always, we're coming to you live from the Rescue Smokehouse Grill right here on Exit 75 off Interstate 75. Again tonight, man, Dale and I had supper. It was absolutely delicious. A great atmosphere at this place. You can smell it before you ever get here. It just draws you in. Raymond and Amy Poor and Megan and occasionally Raymond and Amy's daughters are in here helping out. These are great people. They're not just good cooks, but they're great people. And they're open until 10 o'clock. You can come in, grab you something good to eat, bring the kids, come as you are. You don't have to dress up unless you just want to. Very laid-back atmosphere. The prices are very affordable. The food is delicious, and you get plenty of it. You're going to get full here. You say, well, Pastor Todd, my son or my daughter doesn't really like barbecue. That's okay. They've got a menu that'll pretty much cover anything, and whatever you pick is going to be good. That's the Rescue Smokehouse Grill right here on Exit 75. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Mike Hurd, 5-Star Hyundai in Warner Robins, Bill Cheek, Heartland EMS in Cochran, and our latest partner as a sponsor, our friends at Carroll Sausage and General Store, Hugh Hardy Jr., Johnny Walker, and the manager of that store, Jason Black. We appreciate all that you do. All right. I think my buddy Brian Hester has made it to the house tonight, so I'm going to invite Brian up to talk to us right now, and we kind of flip-flop things. We've still got some interviews to come. We're going to be talking to Jimmy Sharpe, Jr. We're going to be talking to Jimmy Sloan, Jr. and Shaun Washam in the second hour, so guys, don't go anywhere. Normally, this part of the show, first of all, Brian, good to have you back. We missed you last week, and Brian had some elective surgery, something that needed to be done, and we're glad that he's back up and rolling. Yep. We missed him, talked to him by phone, and we're really glad to have you back tonight, man. And I was opening up the show, and I said there was a lot that happened this past weekend. We had Labor Day. The weather pretty much held out, thank God. Yep. We had a 2-night show in Cochran. We were able to get both nights in easily, no problem weather-wise. No, there was a lot of other tracks that were in action too. And there was some big storylines that come out of this past weekend. Yeah. So I want to toss it over to you, let you hit what happened last week and what's coming up this week.
Well, this week we'll go ahead and just speak on it. World 100, can't say no more than that. Starting out tonight, preliminary heats and your twin 25-lap features. If anybody's ever watched the last couple, 2 or 3 years, what Thursday night, Friday night up there, if you can afford dirt on dirt, if you can get the app, and you can stay awake long enough, that is some awesome racing. I mean, it is edge of the seat. I mean, they get after it because everything they do tonight and tomorrow night leads up to Saturday night. It's almost like the way the Knoxville Nationals. Every night's a culmination to build you up to where you want to be Saturday for qualifying. So you have to race your way in. There's none of this draw in the middle and, sandbag so we can get a better spot. And, it ain't nothing like that. You got to go race. Last week, two big shows for World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil. Lucas Oil was up at I-77 Raceway Park in Portsmouth at the Hillbilly 100. Bloomquist and, everybody wrote him off. He comes in, sweeps the weekend. And Rick Eckert, who for a long time everybody knew him from the orange number 24, the Ray Best excavating machine. I can't remember what car he's in now. I think it's like a red number 7, Dale, if you've seen pictures of it. But he wins the Firecracker 100 up at Lernerville. I think Shane Planton won the preliminary night on Friday night. Good win for Rick Eckert. One of the probably next to Billy Moyer and a couple other guys, very soft-spoken, true gentleman of the sport. Kind of reminds you of some of the older NASCAR guys from back in the day. Just never hear anything bad out of him as far as getting into it with people or anything like that. So that's a feel-good win for that bunch, and I know they tickled because that in that Pennsylvania area is a real big hotbed of super late models. Oh, yeah. So if you just fall in there on a Saturday night, you got Ohio cars right there on the line and West Virginia cars right on the line. So just a regular Saturday night show is hard to make. I mean, I'm serious. It's hard to make the show. That means that they have a pile of cars. So good win for them. Glad to see it. I guess we can't avoid it. We have to talk about Cochran this weekend. Like I said, good weather.
Good crowd.
Good crowd. Absolutely. I went up one time, see my dad, saw my daughter, her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's parents. And my grandson had come, with them Sunday night and all. I slipped in late Saturday night and all. I saw you on the front straight away and all. But after Dalton Poole's win, and hats off to Dalton Poole, winds up getting back-to-back wins. And, like I know, back-to-back wins in Bomber.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've been there a lot longer than I have, but I don't think I've ever seen that happen. as far as
Not
match,
much.
you know,
Jeffrey Yates has put together a couple,
Yeah.
good runs.
Yeah.
Terry Cumming, but it doesn't happen all that
Right.
much, especially when you get a shot at a big one.
Yeah, and Pure Stock had a good crowd both nights. I don't really remember the winners. I'm sorry and everything, but I've had a rough week trying to work, and then after surgery, it looks like I'm having some problems today. And as soon as I get through work in the morning, it looks like I'm gonna have to go back to the hospital. So that's the plan right now. So we can't be remiss and not say something about the protest and the tear down. I don't like to see this stuff. I don't. It has been a very dark cloud this week, and there's no right answer, no wrong answer in this. This is, folks, we are just reporting on this. This is not an opinion of any one, three of us or anybody else that's in this room. And folks want to know, and it was a cylinder head issue on Whitener's car. The issue comes up, and Tech, his car was impounded. No other cars were impounded, which has threw up some flags in the rumor world. And I've done my best. I've stayed out of it. I've stayed out of it because Leo and Carolyn and Dale has talked to me about trying to be, you be objective, try to stay on the fence, try not to be too poignant with your answers, but or suggestions or opinions. But inside the head where the valve sit is a valve seat, an aluminum head. And the Brodix head, when you pull the valve seat out, a lot of times when you go back in with a new seat, there might be some machining marks, and you can go up under the seat down in the valve pocket and you can do some work. Evidently, on Cochran's rules, 65 thousandths of an inch and under that seat going down into the port that you can blend or work. That's where you take a die grinder tool and you work around and smooth it up. All right. National Late Model Sportsman rule says it can be an inch. It's pretty close. 65 thousandths of an inch to an inch is, there's some thickness of that wire right there just about. It was reported that they was going by National Late Model Sportsman rules. That's what was on the flyer. And Jerry deemed to throw it out. From what I understand, and like I said, this is all hearsay. They said Byron Corey didn't fuss with him about it or anything. But,
Now, who is Byron Corey?
Byron Corey is the engine builder.
Okay.
And very, very good engine builder. I mean, he is, with Beaver in our area, Wildcat, Green Flag. He's one of the dominant engine builders in our area. He builds a ton of these spec style motors and all. And they're all competitive. Like I said, this is basically a 358 steel block engine with flat top pistons. You can run a 5.7 rod. You have I think a 43, 44 pound forwards crank rule, flat tappet cam, flat top pistons. You can run, good pistons, good rods, good crankshaft. But then you have to put the Brodix spec heads that come from Brodix Incorporated. Those ports have indelible marks inside of them, have raised letters that says LMS. So it takes out all the port and work. You can't do no work to them except from that one little area. It's been asked 100 times, is that a horsepower gain? It may be a flow gain. If you take that head and put it on a flow bench, yeah, you might see a little something. Horsepower gain, not to where you're going to see it on the racetrack. But like I said, Jerry said it was wrong. It was deemed illegal. They had to go back Monday. That's when it all happened. And Keith's car went back to Eastman, got the car and brought up, and then they pulled the top end on it. It was deemed legal, and Keith wins $10,000.
Well, I don't think that's become official yet. And again, I'm like Brian. Let me tell you, I'm the announcer at the track. I've had an opportunity to talk to Mark Whitener. He was one of the first guests we interviewed.
Yeah.
Mark is a super nice guy. I had an opportunity to go down on the track and talk with Mark the night that he won. It was on a Saturday night. It was $10,000. This race was a race that was originally scheduled for July the 4th. they decided to make it up on Labor Day, and we kind of left it alone there for a few weeks. There was other things happening, and we started pumping it in the next, week or two before, and we
wound up with a good car count.
Yeah, I think we ended up like 25, maybe something like maybe even 26. And my take on the entire thing is this, guys. We had back-to-back nights of racing. I had church on Sunday morning, and Saturday night, Sunday morning, come back Sunday afternoon. And, when you've got that much going on, there's a lot that happens. I think I left the track somewhere around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Right. And I'm going to be honest, was absolutely wiped out. It was a great show. I loved it. I had no idea of anything that had even happened. I woke up the next day, and my wife and I were going to go fishing. Actually ran into somebody in the grocery store who mentioned something to me about it. And I said, I have no idea. I don't even know what you're talking about. And there's a few things that I know were questions on this whole thing. There's one thing that was said that was a fair question. Somebody had said, well, there was only one car impounded. And then, Keith, there was another report that said Keith never, ever got tore down. That's not true. Keith went back to Eastman, got his car, brought it back to Cochran into the hangar, and Jerry had marked the motor. Okay. And, I'm not getting into who said, he said, she said. I'm telling you what happened. The motor was marked. And the reason I bring that up is because there was somebody saying that he went and swapped motors out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't there. I don't know. I would be lying if I said I was, but I do know that they marked that motor. Yeah. And when they come back, they did tear the motor down. Yeah. And the reason that's important is because I wasn't even sure in the beginning. I don't think a lot of people were. Right. If you pull a $10,000 win from a man, you don't just take the $10,000 and hand it to the next man. Right. Right. You've got to bring him through the paces just like you did the other man. Right. Now, after hearing everything, I can tell you that Keith hasn't been given any money yet. They're waiting on tire samples and things like that. Yep. And but this is my take. I hate it for everybody involved. Yes, and I'm not trying to skirt the issue. I hate it. I hate it for racing. I would hate it if it was at somebody else's track. I certainly hate it because, guys, I'll tell you, there was such a good feeling at our track all weekend. We honored our military, and if you didn't get a chance to see that, go look, man. And when you hear about something like this, you're going to have people coming out on both sides on it. I will tell you this, and if I'm wrong, then God will show me. But I feel like I work for honorable people. And some of you may get upset with me for saying that, but I feel like I work for honorable people. I believe Chris Martin is straight up. I do. I believe that. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't work for him. Nobody's perfect. And I know that Mark and them came from Middleburg. Where's Middleburg at, by the way?
It's lower southwest Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, well, that's a 5-6 hour ride probably. Well, pulling a trailer?
Four.
Okay, four.
Pulling a trailer.
Yeah, and then, you come down, you have, Mark was fast in hot laps, man. Mark was on the bottom of the track. He ran the apron of the track the whole night. And most of the time you don't win like that at Cochran, but he did. And he won handily. And I was very, very happy and excited for Mark. And Keith Edge, who was second, I interviewed the top 3 drivers. And Keith told me that's one of the fastest cars he's ever seen in his life. Yeah. And
but Mark is good. Mark is probably right now. I've seen Ivan be like this, and it seems like it always seems to be the Florida drivers. I've seen Ivan on a roll like this. I've seen Jason Fitzgerald on a roll like this. Mark is on his game right now. I've seen him unload with some super shows, and run right in there with him. I saw him at Talladega Short Track with a spec motor. Right in there with the best of the best over there with a little spec motor at Talladega Short Track one time this year. Yeah, they're on their game. They are as serious a group of racers, and pretty much kind of like race for a living. Even though he's got a job, the guys that own it, work on these cars, they race for a living.
Yeah,
and this is a pretty big blow for them. When you have to go through this, and their weekend is a wash. Yeah, basically.
And Mark, Mark and his family,
Yeah.
such nice people.
Yes.
Mark, if you're watching this, man,
And they bring the kids. I mean,
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
comes.
You know, I have had nothing but good to say about you, and I still feel that way, man.
Yeah.
I'm not an engine builder. I don't
Yeah.
know what 65 thousandths of an inch. I don't know what that means. All I know is that what has happened, and
Yeah.
and I genuinely feel bad because in this case, nobody wins.
No, they don't. And, you know, I hate it for Joni and Chris. It's you know, it's been rough on all three corners this week. There's, you know, people that's said pretty bad stuff about everything. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I hate it. And it's about made me, you know, just throw my hands up. But I've seen it before. I've seen it at some other tracks and stuff. You get in those gray area deals about racing. And, you know, we kind of look at NASCAR sometimes and we, you know, like scratch our head. Why do they do all this tech? Why do they, like, you know, now you see why they do what they do.
Yeah.
It's got to be right before it hits the track. It's, you know, so.
And, you know, I guess only time will tell. I know that this has raised a lot of questions. And, you know, Brian, and guys, think about it like this. Everything that we have had in racing, and I'm not talking about just dirt racing, I'm talking about it has taken some of the worst possible things happening before it would get better. Think about Dale Earnhardt.
Right.
I mean, and then the Hans devices. I mean, and we could go on and on, safer barriers and on and on and on. And my hopes in all of this is that with people putting in so much effort, and when I say people, I'm talking about the drivers, the crews, the families, the people that travel. I'm talking about the racetrack owners, the promoters, the whole shebang. You know, you don't want to see anything decided like that. No, I don't. You want to see it settled on the track, but you know, hopefully this is going to make everybody involved, and that goes for the drivers, the crews, or the track owners, or whoever. Because I can tell you that we are no different than any other track. We try to promote our track. We try to do good. We try to do right. Yeah. And the last thing we want is a firestorm of controversy. This is not something that we sit around and plan and scheme and all. Guys, that's ridiculous. I'll say that to you. And I can tell you that come Saturday night, I stood on the track and I talked to Mark Whitener. I talked to Keith Edge, who was second. I talked to Bob Robertson, who was third. Yeah. And every one of those guys, they were wore out, but everybody was good. Yep. I thought everything was good. And then I hear sometime around, you know, lunchtime on Monday or a little later that, you know, that things have kind of spun out. So,
you know, it's been kind of hard on me this week because I'm affiliated with now. You know, when I was just a racer, you know, that was, you know, how'd you run? We did all right. You know, that's pretty much it. But now I've got a little bit more of a face in the game, and, you know, they see me around Cochran or associated with racing. And you know, man, my phone got beat up Monday and all week long. And you know, people trying to drag the worst out of me, wanting opinions out of me, wanting to say stuff. And, you know, Chris and Tony's been good to me. I've known Keith since I was pretty much a young, and Keith drove some cars that my daddy had built motors for. Speak to Keith and know his family and all of his friends, his crew. They're good friends with my buddy Danny Sheffield, Morgan Sheffield's daddy. They're all pretty tight. And then, like I say, through Carolyn and Leo, I've gotten to know Mark and Bridget and their crew and all. And you know, I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna. Yeah. I'm not gonna have no one-sided thing on this. Yeah. I hate that it's like it is. You know, I do. But like I said, we'll learn. There's a whole big thing, basket full of stuff learned on this, and I'm quite sure the next time this goes down, it'll be a different scenario.
We'll have a hard and fast answer, and there will be no.
And you know, and probably one thing, the only thing I got right now is probably, and it's hard to do, you know, possibly should have went ahead and done the tech and Saturday night. Got it over with, you know. I know that's hard, but, you know, you still could have pulled the head off, and you could have PNG'd the motors and, you know, done some stuff like that, check the bore stroke, and put a head gasket back on.
Right.
And
well, like you said, I have many, many friends, and my phone is blown up too.
Yep.
And most of the people there know that
Yep.
I'm not an engine builder or anything like that, but I have told everybody the same thing. I hate it for everybody. I really do. I hate it. I love and respect our competitors. I don't care if you're there with us or you come across the country to race with us. Pastor Todd treat everybody the same.
Right.
And if you don't believe it, you come to Cochran, I'll show you. But anyway, I'm sure there'll be more to come about that. And we'll talk about it more as more information comes up. But anyway, we had to hit that. And it's not something I was real looking forward to, but I felt like we needed to address it. But I tell you what, Dale, what we're going to do now, we're going to go on into our second
break, and then we're going to come back with somebody set the roll, Jimmy Sharpe, Jr.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
all
Very
right.
good. All right, guys, we're going to take a short time out. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Jimmy Sharpe. Jimmy Sharpe was one of the winners at Cochran this weekend, and Dale's telling us now that he's actually up in Eldora, so we're going to get a live report from the World 100.
Kind of like Jimmy Sharpe, way out yonder.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, guys, don't you go anywhere. We're going to take a short time out. We'll be back with part 2, the Deep Dixie Racing Report.
Hold on, Jimmy.
Once again, I want to welcome everybody back to hour number 2 of the Deep Dixie Racing Report, coming to you live from the Rescue Smokehouse Grill right here on exit 75 off Interstate 75 in beautiful Sycamore, Georgia, man. They're going to be open till 10 tonight. They've got great food. The atmosphere is really, really laid back. Come on out and check it out. Of course, we are brought to you by our friends at 5 Star Hyundai in Warner Robins, Mr. Mike Hurd. He is the manager of their award-winning service department. We appreciate all their support. Mr. Bill Cheek with Heartland EMS in Cochran, Georgia, celebrating 20 years of excellence, taking care of all of us down there in Middle Georgia. And, of course, our latest partner is Carol Sausage and General Store. They've got 4 locations. The one closest to us is about 7 miles north of here on exit 82. Go check it out. Great atmosphere in there as well. Plenty of good things to pick from. You can even park your RV there. They're right off of Interstate 75. You cannot miss them. A big thank you to Mr. Hugh Hardy Jr., Johnny Walker, and the store manager, Jason Black. We sure do appreciate it. Our thanks to Clint Smith, who joined us in hour number 1. And right now, we are going to go to the phones and speak to a young man coming off of a big win. We just talked about Cochran Motor Speedway. He won one leg of that race. It was the Sunday night race. The National Late Model Series rolled back into CMS. And we're joined live on the phone right now by Mr. Jimmy Sharpe, Jr. Jimmy, how are you, buddy?
Not bad, buddy. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. Now, Jimmy, before we get into our questions and our conversation, I want you to let us know, where are you at right now?
I'm out in Eldora at the World 100 up there. I actually stand out by the road to get some service when I talk to y'all.
I hear you. Jimmy Sharpe Jr. is up at Eldora right now, literally has walked away from the track to try to get a little better cell service. Jimmy, we know you got a lot going on up there, man. We're not going to keep you long, but I want to get right to this past weekend. Last few times that you have showed up at Cochran Motor Speedway, you have definitely been the man to beat, and you proved it again this past Sunday night when you bested a very stout field of late models. Tell us about your win Sunday night, Jimmy.
We really got a good combination. And, Tim Oliver bought the new Scorpion chassis, a few months back. And, we got it back to my shop and, really, doing our touch equipment. It really fits my driving style. We've been really, we hadn't run it but a few times. We've been up front everywhere we went. We went to Lake City a few weeks back, led some of the race, and Whitener got by. So, we're still learning. And, I've made a lot of laps around Cochran, so I really don't, count that as, somewhere new. But, we have made a lot of laps around there, so it kind of fits my driving style.
Right. We're joined right now live by Jimmy Sharpe Jr. He is live coming to us from Eldora Speedway. Brian, how about that, man? That's a long way from Georgia, ain't it? And Jimmy, you mentioned about the Scorpion chassis. Now, you and your dad, Jimmy Sr., you guys have a chassis of your own that you call a Predator. And if I'm understanding you right, you guys have tried to take the best of both worlds and create a combination there that has really paid off for you. How does that actually happen?
Well, I do my own thing at my place. He does his own thing at his place, and we just kind of put it all together. And with me getting the Scorpion chassis from, Tim Oliver, and we just kind of, throw all of it together. And, what he knows and what I know. And, of course, everybody knows he's been racing for 40 years, seems like. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to beat. We both kind of drive, got the same driving style, so we relate a lot together, Yeah. He's been over there last couple of weeks. I think he's won the last 2 weeks. He's been over there. Mm-hmm. 2 times I've been over there. So we just kind of work together. So you can't never have enough information, when it comes to dirt late model racing.
Yeah, you got that right, man. And Jimmy, your car, not to mention that it's a fast car, but it's a very, very sharp-looking car. I know that when I looked at it the other night, it had a little different stance of any other car out there, and there was some really good-looking cars. But, the handling is one thing. Of course, you got to have a wheel, man, to get it done. but one of the main components of a winning combination is that engine, that power plant. And I believe that you guys have been dealing with Mr. John Beaver. Is that right?
No, so we run, kind of a combination. Richard Wentworth and Charlie at Reeves has done our last motor for us.
Okay.
We really got it. A good combination. The motor runs good. We don't have to turn it a lot. And, it's like I say, it fits my driving style. And, everything's just kind of gelling right now. Everywhere we go, we've been up front with it. That's the reason I come up here to kind of see, late model racing, you got to stay on top of your game and see what everybody's doing. And that's the reason I've made this long trip, just kind of see what's new and just see what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. Well, you have definitely had some success at our place, Jimmy. And I know that the year is not over yet. We're actually going to be having a super late model race roll into Cochran in October. It has been a while since we've had the supers there. And I'm curious, are you going to put a bigger motor in one of those Scorpions and come in there and try your hand?
Yeah, we actually, we got a new Clint motor. One of my sponsors is Gas Force, and we're gonna make that show. Hopefully, if everything goes right, we're gonna try to make our next race. We're gonna try to make the Alabama race and get ready for the big money over there, and try to come back to our home track, Cochran, and try to make that super race.
Yeah, very good. We are joined right now by Jimmy Sharpe, Jr., and Jimmy has really, really been dialed in over at Cochran Motor Speedway this year. His dad, as he mentioned, he won 2 races back-to-back over there, and I think that the third race kept him going 3 for 3. I think he was second in that one, and we always love to watch him race. And Jimmy, you've always been very kind. You've been a well-spoken gentleman, man, and we sure do appreciate you taking time to talk to us, buddy. I know that if I was up there, I would probably be so amazed that I'd have a hard time breaking away, but we really do appreciate it, man. We hope you have a great time up there and a safe trip home, buddy.
I thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for having me on. Appreciate Deep Dixie and everything y'all do for, keeping our sport and getting us out there. We're doing what we love. I appreciate it.
Yeah, our pleasure. All right, Jimmy, you have a good one, man. That is
Mr.
Jimmy Sharpe, Jr., and, that's got to be a good feeling. You come off of a major win on a Sunday night. And by the way, let me say something now. The field that was at Cochran on Saturday and Sunday night, don't think that anybody backed into nothing over there. This was a stout field of late models. I'm talking about the best in the business, and
he had a good run at Super Street.
Yeah,
he once he cleared third place car, he was in third and run the leaders down. And and I don't know, did he wind up third or second, or
I think he might have ended up man, I can't remember, but I know
he come from a long ways in
Johnny Tucker and Jason Price. I know that that they were going at it, and that was a big win for them boys too. So congratulations to Johnny if he's listening. But and then to be able to go up to Eldora, that has got to be like the candy store for all dirt racers, man, to be able to go see that. But Jimmy has always been a kind young man. Every time I've had a chance to talk to him, he's very well spoken, and it's like so many of those guys, man, that second generation crowd. Although Jimmy Jr. is a little bit older than the Will Harringtons, the Blake Smiths, the Pearson Lees, the Corey Dunns, but Chaz Haskins in there too. But this guy has really stepped his game up, man. I mean, he is a threat anywhere he goes, and momentum,
Yeah, momentum, and like I said, they're very precise. His dad, Jimmy, has been around a long time. He's very soft-spoken, quiet guy. Jimmy Jimmy Sr. really just don't say a whole lot, and sometimes that's a good thing, because you keep all your eggs in one basket and kind of keep your secrets to yourself. So,
that's right.
But they build I don't know how many cars they build a year, but they build some all-star cars, pure stock cars, Super Street and all. And I still say he's probably got one of the best Super Street cars, for the leaf spring car you can buy. Everything. So
I agree.
Yeah,
those guys they always run good no matter what they're in. I tell you what, Dale, it's what, 8:17 now. Let's see if we can get a hold of Jimmy Sloan, Jr. And we're talking to some guys that we try to mix it up, guys. If there's somebody at your local track that you would like for us to have on, just simply let us know. We'll do our best to track them down. Sometimes it's hard to get folks with their schedule and that sort of thing, but we try to bring as much parity, show as much love as we can to all the tracks in our immediate area. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can get a hold of Jimmy Sloan, Jr. All right, we're going to try to get him.
Where is he from?
Around,
Jimmy, it's Pastor Todd Sharon, Deep Dixie Racing Report. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
Doing good, man. We're glad that you took some time out to talk to us tonight. Folks, we are just beginning our conversation with Mr. Jimmy Sloan, Jr. And Jimmy, for the folks that's tuning in right now, give us an idea of where you race, where you're from, what class you race in, and just kind of give us a snapshot of your racing right now.
We're running at Needmore Speedway and running in the Super Street test.
Okay.
We bought the car 3 races ago, and we've been running for 3 races now.
Okay. Now, I understand that out of those 3 races, you guys have done pretty good. Is that right?
Yes, sir. We've won all 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Batting 1,000, man. You can't beat that.
Like
Can't get no better than that. Now, Jimmy, I know that Dale and I were talking. Now, if I get my wires crossed, forgive me. Sometimes that happens. But I understand that you have you run with the All-Star Stock Car Series some too, or no? Or am I thinking someone else?
No, sir. I haven't had the opportunity to run with them.
Okay. All right. Now, you are driving in the Super Street division, and you're down from around Needmore. Where do you guys race other than Needmore?
In the past, we've run Golden Isle, Waycross, Douglas, Albany, and we run something in Court Hill, and they, we're dirt.
Right.
But now we're just mainly running Needmore.
Okay. Now,
he comes from a racing family now.
Okay. Yeah. Dale was telling us that you do come from a racing family. And before I ask you to tell us about that, we've got a couple of big races coming up over at East Alabama, over in Phoenix City. And it seems like that everybody goes over there. Are you guys going to try to make the trip over there and make those shows, Jimmy?
No, sir. We're not going to try to make it this year. Everything kind of come together. It was a rush deal. We started talking about buying a car on like Thursday, and we wound up racing that Saturday night. So
wow. And winning that Saturday night. How about that?
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool.
We're trying to get all our ducks in a row, and we might try to go over there and run something next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to work something out where I can run with All-Star Series over there at the state race.
Okay, cool. Very cool. We may see you yet then. We're joined right now by Mr. Jimmy Sloan, Jr., and Jimmy has run 3 races in his new Super Street car, and he's won all 3 of them. And Jimmy, I know that racing has been a part of your family, and I know that there's at least one name, if not more, that people will immediately recognize. Tell us some of the names of the people in your family that we'd recognize.
My dad, Jimmy Sloan, Sr., my uncle, LeVon Sloan. LeVon's still racing at Needmore. I've got a cousin that raced in Port Hill and about Austin around Melbourne, Sloan. And that's pretty much it.
Now, how long have you actually been running, and is it something that you've done and stuck with it, or did you said that you recently bought a car, so did you take a little bit of time off from the driving?
Yes, sir. I started in 91, and when I had my kids, I quit, and I quit till 09. We started back running the limited class in 09, and we run it through 2012, and we I quit again, and then we just purchased a Super Street, started back this year.
Wow, man, that's pretty good. And being able to jump back in it, I'm guessing I did the math when you were talking about when you started and then your kids were born. Hats off to you for that, man. I know that sometimes it's hard to do both.
Yeah.
And you know, I know you had to really make a tough choice there, but that's something that you'll never regret. But Jimmy, how many races are left down in Needmore for the 2015 season?
We've got 3. We've got 2 regular season races, and then we've got the early bird. We'll run not this Saturday night, but next Saturday night, and we'll run October 3rd, and then the early bird will be November 13th, 14th, and 15th, I believe.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Man, it's hard to believe we're almost into the fall of the year, ain't it, man? Unbelievable, yes. Unbelievable. Jimmy, what do you do aside from racing? What's your career?
I work for the government at the Marine Base in Albany, Georgia.
Okay, cool, very cool. Thank you for what you do, man. We honor our servicemen and women and everybody connected with that. Jimmy, before I let you get out of here, I know that one of the things that we try to do on this show is we try to allow our drivers, track owners, sponsors, or whatever, we want to give you an opportunity to share the names and the companies or whoever may help you with your racing. You know, we appreciate the fact that people are willing to help, and you know, sometimes we can put a decal on the side of the car, or you know, occasionally you'll have an opportunity in an interview, but we want to give you a shot right now to talk about those people that have helped you, not just financially support, but the people that help you out with your car.
Okay. Yes, sir. I've got a great group of sponsors. I've got J&J Roofing, Langdale Fuel, Jackson's Transmission, O'Neill Brothers Woodworking, EG Auto Sales, H&W Farm, and then my dad, he furnishes all the engines for the car. And then on my crew, I've got the same pit crew that I started with back in '91. Mm-hmm. They've been through, you know, been with me from the beginning. Stephen Reynolds, Steve O'Neill, Brandon Reynolds, Bruce Conger, Ricky Fender, and my dad. It's just a pleasure working, you know, driving one of their cars. Everything's just, you couldn't ask for it to be any better.
Wow. Man, it sounds like you got a good group of guys. And Jimmy, tell me, what does it feel like when you've got that many sponsors and you've got that many people that help you out with the car, and you've got so many hours of hard work, not just your own, but others too? What does it feel like to roll back in after winning just one race, much less 3 races, and you come back to that group of people that's celebrating with you? What's that like, man?
Oh, it's worth it just to see the look on their face when we get in. You know, we go through tech and get the victory lane, and that's what it's all about. It's just, you know, the camaraderie with these guys, and it's something special.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man. Well, Jimmy, we really appreciate you taking time to talk to us, man. I really enjoyed talking to you. I don't think we've ever met, but if you ever make it up our way in Cochran, definitely come up to the tower, man, and I'd love to meet you, man. And I can tell just by listening to you, a good guy, and we wish you the very best, not just the rest of this year, but on into the future too, buddy. We really appreciate it.
All right. Hey, I sure do appreciate it. We will. We had thought about, we actually come and run one time in the Olympic on Cochran.
Okay.
But if we get back up that way, I'll come see you.
Absolutely. Okay, buddy. Well, God bless you and have a good evening. Good interview.
Yep.
Very well done. Yep. Very well done. I really enjoyed talking to him. And, man, I tell you, when you learn this racing thing, you can pop out, you can pop back in, and it's like it doesn't hardly take any time, right back in the game, man. Yep. Dale, I think that we've got another driver that we want to get to. And let's see if we can't go ahead and get a hold of him. Shaun Washam. Where's Shaun from again?
He might be Golden Isle Speedway.
Okay. And he's the one that sometimes runs with. Okay.
I think he finished 10th in that last All-Star race.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
That's saying something right there.
Yeah.
Shaun, Pastor Todd Sharon, Deep Dixie Racing Report. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Good, man. We appreciate you joining us tonight. And for those of you that may just be tuning in to our show right now, I know that Dale always posts up who we're going to interview on our show each week. But we're talking to a young man right now. His name is Shaun Washam. And Shaun, I understand that you spend most of your racing time down around Brunswick, around Golden Isle. For those that may not know who you are, give us a little idea of your car, which class you run in, how long you've been racing, and the details like that.
I race hobby stock at Golden Isles. We've been racing with the All-Star Stock Car Series this year.
Mm-hmm.
We've missed one race. I think we've missed Cochran.
Uh-huh.
And I drive a black number 12, and I was the 2014 .7 at Golden Isle Speedway.
Wow.
And
impressive.
It's tied for the lead with Brian Grantham this past weekend, and got into a racing incident with 2 to go, and I think it kind of hurt our chances on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, man, that is very impressive. Now, when you say hobby stock, Shaun, just to clarify, at our track, the hobby stock will be the equivalent of pure stock. Am I thinking right?
Right.
Okay.
Well,
And
I don't know. I think they're hobby. Shaun, y'all have like y'all run like the bigger tires, bigger wheels, and hobby down there.
We run the 8-inch.
Okay, well it's just like a pure stock.
okay. All right.
Yeah. It's just I think it's about the same thing as the pure stock in Cochran.
Yeah. Shaun, Dale was telling me that the last time that the All-Star Stock Car Series went to Golden Isle, which I believe was just a few weeks back, and if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Cecil Eunice won that race. And I understand you come away with a top 10 in that race, and that is even doing something if you even make the field. How many of these All-Star races have you ran in, and what is your best finish to date?
I ran in, I believe, 4 or 5, and that was my best finish of 10th. And we usually about a mid-pack car. We do the best we can with what we got.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about all.
I got you.
That. Yes, sir.
Shaun, talking to you, I have no idea. You and I have never met that I can remember, but I'm guessing you're a young man. How old are you, Shaun?
22.
22. All right, I got
yes,
you.
Sir.
I was guessing maybe 25, something like that. Shaun, what do you do besides race, man? What's your career?
I work on a blueberry farm.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Sir.
That is so cool. Dale was telling me about that. And I'm serious about this. That is incredible. We live in Middle Georgia, Shaun, so we have strawberries, and we got Lane Packing as a big peach orchard, and they do pecans and peaches and all that. But as far as a blueberry, I'm guessing that's a little more of a delicate crop. What exactly do you do, Shaun?
Well, we got a machine that it actually goes above the bushes, and it shakes the bush, and it comes down to a conveyor belt, and it picks the fruit forest by that. And they are pretty delicate.
Mm-hmm.
They you can mash them and stuff like that, and they do really good. There's a lot of people getting into the blueberries, and there's some pretty good money in that.
Cool.
But yes, sir.
And what is the particular company that you work with, Shaun?
The Blueberry Farm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Well, I got to ask you this. When I go to Krispy Kreme Donuts and I see the people back there working, I ask them, do you eat Krispy Kreme donuts every day? And they say, man, I am so sick of Krispy Kreme donuts, I can't even stand to look at them because I'm around them. Is that the same way it is with you and blueberries, Shaun, or do you still pound a fistful of blueberries every now and then?
Every now and then I'll eat them. They,
I would.
they do. I get tired of seeing them during blueberry season, that's for sure.
I hear you, man. We're talking to Mr. Shaun Washam. He is a hobby stock driver down at Golden Isle Speedway, and heck of a driver and also a nice guy, man. Shaun, you mentioned earlier you were 22, and I loved your honesty. You said we're a mid-pack car. We do the best we can with what we've got. Give us an idea of what your racing team is like and who helps you and who sponsors you and that sort of thing.
My daddy and Chase Queen, they help me on the race car, and my brother, and my sponsors are H&S Car Piers and Blueberry Farm. And let's see, I don't want to forget anybody. Brooker's Boot Barn, and I think that's about all. Everybody that helps me out.
Okay. Well, man, we sure appreciate you taking time to. Yes.
You mean you're going down to Volusia this weekend?
Are you going to Volusia this weekend, Shaun?
Yes, sir, I was, but I seen about 30 minutes ago where they said that they canceled due to weather.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I meant to say that in my.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I think we got some change of plans there, and I don't know anywhere else racing. We might just take the weekend off.
I got you. Yeah, the weather's kind of iffy in our area too. Last I seen it was 80, and it's craziest thing, man. It'll be 10 and 0% all through the week, and then Saturday they drop a 80 or 90 on us, and then it'll be 0 on Sunday.
Yeah.
But well, Shaun, it has been a pleasure to talk to you, buddy. And like I told the driver that I interviewed before you, if you ever come to Cochran, man, make sure you look me up, and I will be very happy to meet you. I won't forget you, buddy, and you're a well-spoken young man, and I wish you the very best the rest of this year and on into the future with your racing, buddy.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all having me on and everything.
Okay. It's our pleasure, man. God bless you and have a good evening.
All right. Thanks.
And that is Mr. Shaun Washam, and that is very interesting to me. You know, my wife, she actually goes to these places down around our area, and there's not a lot of them. And you pay to pick the blueberries, and I mean, you just got to really find where they're at. But to actually have an actual blueberry farm, I've never heard of such a thing. But I mean, somebody's got to grow them.
It really took off probably about, I'm gonna say about anywhere between 10 or 15 years ago. The Alma, Waycross, Baxley, Bristol, Hortense, working all the way back down through that area.
Now, has that got something to do with that black dirt down there?
I would say probably so. I had asked Randy Martin one time, and the soil and the environment really enriches the blueberry taste. You get a lot sweeter taste out of it and all. You know, about like Florida and oranges, about the same thing and all.
Cool. You learn something every day, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I think that we have just about wrapped things up. I want to say thank you to everybody that came on tonight. It was an exceptionally good night for interviews, man. We had a whole range of people from, Clint Smith that's been doing it for years and years and years. Then you talk to Shaun Washam, and he's 22 years old. And then, some of these other guys that have been running. Just an all-around good night, and we sure do appreciate everybody that helped us out with our show. We love interviewing these drivers. We really do. And, to just be able to give a driver just a few minutes and give them some love and to hopefully maybe highlight their sponsors and the people that help them out, our hope and our desire in doing this show is that maybe that might get you some more help, and it might extend what you've got, so you can keep racing. And, we did touch on the situation with Cochran, and I know that there's going to be more to come about that. I don't know how the thing's going to shake out, but again, we spoke to it as honestly as we could. And, Brian, it's good to have you back. Seriously, I cut up with you, and we're glad that, that you're back in the game. But I know that Brian's got to go back, and they've got to take a look at what they've done. So make sure you keep Brian in your prayers.
Talking about my hard headedness, I couldn't help it, but my legs hurt so bad Friday and Saturday, and they couldn't ever figure out why. Well, I literally could not walk Friday. And like I said, Jim and Karen had brought me to supper Thursday night, and I went to spin around in the chair and stand up from the table, and I had to tell her, can you walk over to the kitchen sink and grab this for me? I couldn't literally move, and I don't try to make a big production about it, but I finally just made my mind Saturday I was going to get up and I was going to get to moving and doing stuff and all, but they figured it was probably just adrenaline. I'm not used to that stuff. I'm scared to death of needles, and it took them 5 times to get the IV in me and everything. So I was already, heart rate was jacked, and they had to bring it back down before they could ever get started. So like I said, I might have overdone it this week. Like I said, the hematoma is like a blood clot or a bruise. It's just adjacent to where the area that got fixed and above it. So they talking like they might want to look at it tomorrow. As soon as I get through working in the morning, I got a quick run right there to the lower side of Atlanta, get back, jump the truck, go down there and see them. And they've thrown up a 50-50 deal. They might, say, okay, it's okay. And they might wind up keeping me. So, it's one that might wind up telling on me, but not, like I said, I'm hard-headed, and I appreciate everybody that saw me at the racetrack. I don't think I've ever been to 10 reunions where I've been hugged and shook hands that much in my life. And bless her heart, poor Pam Harrington. I swear I thought she was going to go to a sweet gum tree over there somewhere and find a switch and beat me. She was like, go home. Roger Laster was another one. Roger was just like, you take your butt home, man. You need to go home. But I just can't. I can't help it.
I know. I saw you Saturday. I was down there.
I come up.
Turned around. I said, "Wait a minute. You're supposed to be in bed. What are you doing here?"
And what would you say?
Yeah, I said, "You can't stand it, can you?" But anyway, we're going to be praying that everything works out, and I know it will. And again, guys, thank you for watching our show. We really do appreciate it. But one more serious note that I want to bring up before we go: our producer Dale Hall. Brian, I don't know what's going on, but he's kind of putting us in a tight spot here. He's making some demands. He knows he's a celebrity. He knows it. And, Halloween's coming up.
I don't know where the hat is.
And,
I wonder where this is
Halloween's coming up, and Dale has already started to pick it up a little bit. He's demanding to be called the Dirty Dancer. I don't feel real good about that, but it's his show. I mean, he has the ability to fire me, to hire me. But what's really got me in a bind, the Dirty Dancer said, come Halloween, he's going to be rocking Boy George gear, and he's going to do it right here at Rescues.
Okay.
I don't know.
Thumbs up.
I mean, look, I don't know, Brian. I mean, that ain't how Pastor Todd swings, but. Dale, the Dirty Dancer Hall, if you want to see
yes, you do.
His childhood hero, Raymond, this is the owner of Rescues. Yeah, we may need a rescue. I was just sharing with the audience, Raymond, that Dale Hall has demanded that we allow him to dress up like Boy George for Halloween. And look, I don't know that I'm down with that. We're going to have to get back with you on that.
Yeah,
so
Raymond doesn't throw the dress code on it.
Raymond done come over here to see about what was going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would do without Dale, man. I'll tell you, you got to have a good friend like that to be able to drop a Boy George blast on him. But anyway, let's get out of here, man. It's been a good show. We're going to end this show in prayer, and I'm going to go from laughing and cutting up to something real serious. Tomorrow is 9/11, holiday, anniversary, whatever you want to call it. I'll never forget that day long as I live. It still sends shivers through me when I think about it. And there are still a lot of people, man, that are hurting and wounded on account of that. I cannot even begin to comprehend the loss that our country took that day. And, tomorrow going to be a Friday, ending the work week for most people, heading to the weekend. It's usually upbeat, but wherever you're at tomorrow, just a couple things. Be mindful. Be mindful of your surroundings. I mean, we live in a world that you never know what might happen. I know that I'm going to be taking extra precautions. I work around a lot of hospitals, facilities, and things like that. And I'm always looking, but I don't walk around in fear, and you shouldn't either. We just need to ask the Lord to cover us with protection and, and just go about our life. But I know tomorrow is a big, big day in the history of this country. And I have so many mixed emotions, man. I want to cry. I want to fight. I want to yell. I want to go hug somebody. I don't know how I feel. But anyway, that's a big deal for our country tomorrow. And we do need to keep our servicemen and women in our prayers, as well as their families, all of our first responders, just a crazy world that we live in. And it all comes down to this, man. This can't keep going much longer. Yeah. And I personally believe that the Lord Jesus Christ is coming back soon. I really do. I want to be ready, and he's made it possible for all of us to be ready. And I hope you'll think about that. I really do. It's the best decision you ever made in your life. We appreciate y'all being with us tonight. Let's close in prayer. Father, once again, we thank you for the opportunity to come and do this show. We have such a good time. We learn some things and we make new friends. And I'm just glad that you let me be a part of the racing family. And Lord, I pray for all of the friends and the people that I know and love in our racing family. I just ask for you to touch them. There have been many things happen just this year. We've lost a lot of special people. We've had people get sick, and we've had people that are continuing to battle and recover from serious surgeries and things like that. I pray for them. I pray for Brian that he will be fully and quickly healed and recovered from this surgery that he had. Just help him to be able to know what needs to happen so that he can get on the mend and get back up to full strength. And Lord, as always, we do pray for our country. We pray for our servicemen and women all over the world. We pray for their families that miss them, that are probably crying for them right now. I just pray that you will protect them, Lord. Just be with them. And Lord, if I'm forgetting anything, I know you're not, but if there's anybody that's listening, if anybody that's watching, if they're not saved, no matter what we talk about in racing and no matter what we talk about in the ins and outs of this sport, nothing will ever be more important than our relationship with you. It's all we got when we leave this world. And I just pray that if there's anybody watching that's not saved, that they would just bow to their knees right now and ask you to be the Lord of their life, give their heart and life to you. Lord, I pray for that. And Lord, we know you're coming back soon. Help us all to be ready. We pray all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. Our thanks again to Clint Smith, Jimmy Sharpe, Jr., Jimmy Sloan, Jr., and Shaun Washam. Again, to our host here, Raymond, and Amy Poor at the Rescue Smokehouse Grill. They're still going to be open till 10, guys. If we shut it down a little early, they're going to keep on rocking and rolling. Come on out and grab you something good to eat. Again, thank you to the finest sponsors in the industry, Mike Hurd and our friends at 5 Star Hyundai in Warner Robins, Mr. Bill Cheek, and the wonderful people down there at Heartland EMS, 20 years in business, doing a great job. And our friends right up the road from here, Carol Sausage and General Store. We appreciate all of you. We hope that you have a very happy and safe racing weekend if the weather will hold out. And good Lord willing, we'll see you this time next week with another edition of the Deep Dixie Racing Report. God bless and good night.